Good morning, everybody. It's going to be a busy day. It was a busy day yesterday. How are you all doing today on Tuesday? The day that David Moyes and Jose Mourinho were sacked after defeats against Everton and Liverpool. Will it be the day that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is sacked? We saw so many developing stories yesterday. So many people, I'm not going to say who, jumped way too early with the story. It's not always about being first. It's about being accurate. What I'm going to try and do with this video is explain everything that happened yesterday, because it's been, I'm sorry if I keep looking at my phone. It's going to be developing this morning. And that's what I'm going to try and do, is update you on everything that happened yesterday in the order that it happened from the morning to the evening, because the story really developed across the entirety of the day, to the point now where this morning a bit of a contrasting story is coming out from The Athletic, and that's where I'm going to finish on this video. I can see Kalechi, how you doing this morning? Joined as a new member. Good to see you there, my friend. Look, if you want to join, hit that join button. It really will help the channel. But this is my attempt to give you all the facts and everything that happened yesterday. I won't head to the comments for the first few minutes. I'll just explain it all. And you won't get this on Sky Sports News, by the way, because they're so goddamn late. So let's get straight into it. And it really started in the morning, and it came from Fabrizio. Right, this is what happened yesterday. Fabrizio, they're saying that there was no meeting during the night for Manchester United's board. They're going to decide on Solskjaer's final position today. Rumours about Conte not being considered were not true. So the Conte story came out very, very early yesterday. Considering Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wasn't sacked or anything like that, or any sort of news about him being sacked, this story about Conte came out very, very early indeed. Now, Fabrizio said that, and quite soon after, he did an article that came out with Jamie Jackson, saying, again, talking about Antonio Conte. Go down here and a little snippet saying United are thought to be seriously considering Solskjaer's future after taking 1 point from their last 4 Premier League games. So Jamie Jackson there from The Guardian, who, previously did have links. I think he was a stronger journalist inside Manchester United when Fergie was around. I think his sources were linked towards Fergie rather than anything post-Fergie. But Jamie Jackson and Fabrizio Romano both, with that article there, saying that United are considering Solskjaer's future. And that was around about lunchtime yesterday. Following on from that, in the same sense, Mark Ogden, who was a very strong journalist back in Fergie's days, he's saying that United stars are losing faith in Solskjaer. And again, Antonio Conte's name is being linked with the club. Sources telling ESPN, and we zoom in for you so you can read it. Sources telling ESPN that Solskjaer has already lost the faith of a sizable number of his squad, and that Antonio Conte is prepared to return to management at Old Trafford. So this is around about lunchtime yesterday. We're seeing all the stories developing around Conte. As I said, extremely early. I found that a bit weird. I don't know whether that was coming from Conte's side or whether that was coming from Manchester United's side. A little bit odd. But let's see how the story continued to develop, because it was when Samuel Luckhurst reported this that the story really started to accelerate. Samuel Luckhurst from the Manchester Evening News saying that Manchester United are seriously considering sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. This came out around about, just after lunchtime, probably early afternoon, saying Man United are considering, let me zoom in again so you can read that. Man United are seriously considering, Man United are considering sacking Solskjaer as manager. Manchester Evening News understands the club hierarchy is giving serious consideration to dismissing Solskjaer before Spurs. United's players are understood to be kept inside. They talked about That's a bit irrelevant. So it was this story here that sort of made it really accelerate and explode yesterday. It was Samuel Luckhurst at the Manchester Evening News in the afternoon saying that Manchester United were seriously considering sacking Solskjaer. So we've gone from no meeting happening during the evening and the night to a few hours later, that happening. And importantly, on top of that, actually, I've somehow got rid of that one. But Richard Arnold, who is Manchester United's managing director. Now, there's something to really explain about this, about the hierarchy at Manchester United at the moment. Ed Woodward is leaving the club at the end of the year. He should be. But that's what we've always been told about Ed Woodward. He's leaving the club. Richard Arnold is expected to come in and effectively replace him. It's not really good for Manchester United fans because he's another Glazer yes man. He's been there the whole way through. He's basically a different version of Woodward. But Richard Arnold is the managing director. Now, he cancelled all of his meetings that he had on Monday to speak with Joel Glazer on the phone. Joel Glazer ultimately is the man with the power in his hands over this decision about Solskjaer. Whether or not it's the club speaking about it, the board speaking about it, it falls down to Joel Glazer. Now, the fact that Arnold cancelled all his meetings to have that discussion with Joel Glazer, for a lot of United fans, that was a big step in the direction towards Solskjaer being sacked. That's what happened there. Let's dive back into the story. And as I said, look, please drop a like on the video and subscribe if you're new. I'm going to try and do my best to give you all the facts. And you'll only get this on United People's TV. You won't get it on any other United channel. So please, if you would, drop a like and subscribe. Get involved. Let's move on and see how the story continued to develop. Again, we head back towards Antonio Conte. Man United, the first step has to be the final decision, says Fabrizio Romano, on Solskjaer by the board. Internal talks are still ongoing over how to handle the crisis. Conte will be prepared to talk to United, but there's still no official contact. And that was around about 6:46. Not around about, it's literally exactly 6:46. Again, we head towards Antonio Conte. It's mad. Honestly, I think a lot of United fans yesterday were talking as much about Antonio Conte as our new manager as they were about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being sacked. Oh, Solskjaer's still our manager right now. And that's why I find these Conte stories a little bit odd. Anyway, going back to them. To be clear about Antonio Conte, he's never been a fan of joining clubs during the season, but the only club that could change that is United. Still no official talks. Depends on Solskjaer's situation. Fabrizio Romano effectively repeating himself there. Not much of an update. Then we head towards James Ducker. And he's a man that I definitely do consider a very reliable journalist. And this was around about 9 p.m. last night, saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is left fighting for his job. Again, even he's reporting Antonio Conte. So I can't really say that the Conte stories are just guff now. That Conte's been everywhere yesterday. And he is saying it. Following it on from him, we head towards the BBC. And we hear it from Simon Stone. Is Solskjaer on the brink of being sacked? And this was reported just after James Ducker. So this is what he had to say about Solskjaer. Scroll down here, saying in both instances after Mourinho and Moyes, so they were sacked on Tuesday mornings. That's why I said in an article I published this morning on thepeoplesperson.com, I said that today is the day we're expected that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be sacked, because if we're looking at how Manchester United historically have done it with Moyes after Everton away and Mourinho with Liverpool away, it was the following Tuesday after those Sunday defeats that both of those were sacked. And that's why I said that today he's expected to be sacked. And then we go down here and the BBC goes into it a little bit further, saying BBC Sport understands, this is a very important line here, BBC Sports understands that an increasing number of players are starting to lose faith in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And this is something absolutely that we have seen from James Ducker's been reporting it. We've seen it in basically all the reports yesterday, all suggesting that you start seeing these stories towards the end of managers. I certainly remember it with Mourinho, and I certainly remember it with Van Gaal and Moyes. In terms of the players, stories about the players losing trust, players losing faith, and it's at this point it kind of feels a bit untenable with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But as far as all the stories went last night, everything pointing in the right direction for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being sacked. But at that point, there's no real definitive word from Manchester United and no real definitive story on what's going on. And Fabrizio, there again, there's no doubt on Antonio Conte. There's still no proposal. So Conte clearly is going to be one of the front runners if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is sacked. And we move on to what the story developed into this morning. So that's everything yesterday, right? I hope that sort of brings you bang up to date in how the story developed across the day. It was a really turbulent day. It was very hard to accurately report on that, because as soon as you report in one thing, somebody else is saying something else. It's kind of what happens in transfer windows with targets, and with something as big as an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sacking story. It happened with Solskjaer too. Now, this is what's happened this morning from The Athletic. And you all know that I do respect The Athletic. I respect Laurie Whitwell, Andy Mitten, Adam Crafton, and I believe they're very good journalists with strong links to the club. And they've come out and dropped a bit of a bombshell this morning. Abhishek, I can see you joined as a member. Nice to see you this morning. Honestly, if anybody's got any questions or comments, leave it in the opinions. I'll try and go down to the opinions after this, and please fire in your super chats as well. I'll always answer what you send in super chats, and I try my best. So please support the channel. The Athletic this morning. This is where it sort of exploded into something a bit more confusing than what yesterday was. Let me run through this article with you. Calvin, I can see you've joined as a member as well. Nice to see you, buddy. Thank you very much. Let's go and explain this. Don't lose your shit, all right? Just let me read through this first, all right? This is what Laurie Whitwell is reporting this morning. Solskjaer has been told he is safe for now, but Manchester United's squad is divided and confused. And now I'm going to run through this article, which I've read. I've highlighted some key points from it because it's an extremely significant article, considering it goes basically in the polar opposite direction to everything that we have seen reported yesterday. So as I said, written by Laurie Whitwell and more. So it's probably all of the Athletic staff writing on this with Laurie Whitwell's name on it. Scrolling down here, this isn't important. This is just sort of context and it doesn't really tell you much. Go down here and we start to see the story. In the circumstances, a flurry debate have sparked over Solskjaer's future. Joel Glazer did take that meeting with Woodward and Arnold on Monday. And while United insists such discourse is regular, the unprecedented scenes 24 hours earlier were priming thoughts. Woodward wasn't at the stadium, blah, blah, blah. We scroll down here. Here's probably the most significant part of the whole article. Whether acute pain meant the hierarchy would act over Solskjaer was unclear for a period on Monday, but by nightfall, it transpired that he will very likely be given the opportunity to rectify matters, starting at Tottenham on Sunday. So we have the Athletic here saying that despite everything that's been reported on Monday, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is safe. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will not be sacked by Manchester United, and he will be in charge of Manchester United when we play Spurs on Saturday. Now, what's your reaction to that? Are you past the point of no return? Do you think that will be a bad decision by the club? That's what the Athletic are reporting this morning. Let's scroll down. Let's see how the article continues to develop. Blah, blah, blah. Hello, Marcus. Yeah, you look pretty sad. I'm pretty sad as well. There was unequivocal backing after the defeat to Leicester, and while it was possible to detect a slight softening of that tone, Solskjaer still had support from above after Leicester and even after Liverpool. And I think I'll be honest, I've said it. I've said it very much after the Liverpool game. I said that my position switched. I can't support that after that 5-0 against Liverpool. Apparently, he still got support from inside the club and the board. The decision rests with Joel Glazer. That's what I said at the start. That's definitely the case. Joel Glazer is the man ultimately who is the executioner, ultimately who will have the decision as to whether or not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is sacked. To go down here, the process is often slow. On Monday matters for such a major call. Man United are expected to be slow. Man United, we are slow FC. We know that if we even the simplest of decisions, we take our time over. So let's not ultimately, guys and girls, let's not be surprised if United are taking their time here over what's going on with Solskjaer. As much as we want immediacy and ruthless, quick decisions, if we're going to take 2 years to sign Jadon Sancho, I think we might take a little bit longer than 24, 48 hours to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, even if it's after that defeat to Liverpool. So I'm not surprised. And I'm not saying it's the right thing here, but I'm not surprised. And then if you're looking at the article here from The Athletic, if you want to read it, sign up to The Athletic. It's worth it. There's a lot of insight in here as to what has happened yesterday. And it goes on saying that sources are confusion over the style at Manchester United. It goes into talk about problems, tactical issues. I'll be honest, I don't care about tactical problems at Manchester United right now. But we scroll down here and we see an important aspect of it, saying some players believe it was poor man management to give Bailly a new contract this summer, even if it was to protect his value, and then overlook him despite Maguire not being at full fitness for Leicester. I said this at the time, and it absolutely was a wrong decision. Was a wrong decision by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to Eric Bailly. It's a massive fuck you to Eric Bailly, isn't it? You made me sign a new deal, man. Why are you then overlooking me for Maguire? So as much as I said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a good man manager, and I stand by that overall, there are certainly players like Donny van de Beek, Jesse Lingard's being mentioned here as another one. There are certain players in certain situations that I don't think Solskjaer has managed properly and correctly. So again, the Athletic pointing towards the fact that there are issues inside the squad, inside what's going on with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Scroll down here and we look towards the end of the Athletic article. Antonio Conte has let it be known that he is open to join Manchester United. So everything we're seeing yesterday, everything we're seeing today from the Athletic, all suggesting Antonio Conte would love the Manchester United job. I'm going to head down to the comments when I finish this, and we'll have a conversation about Conte. I'm going to be doing separate videos on him as well. Don't worry about that. Zinedine Zidane is another name being mentioned. Mauricio Pochettino, his name's cropping back up, and Graham Potter. Now, don't be alarmed or surprised by Graham Potter. He's done an absolutely fantastic job at Brighton. Consistent improvements, a real style. You watch Brighton and you know that Brighton are playing, even if they've got Yves Bissouma missing, and then midfield still looks very strong. So what we saw yesterday, as I said, to have a quick recap of what I've just explained in this first 15 minutes of this live stream. Yesterday, the stories developed really quickly in the afternoon. Antonio Conte's name was getting mentioned in the morning by Fabrizio Romano, Jamie Jackson, Mark Ogden came out with stories saying that, things aren't going well for Solskjaer. And then in the afternoon, it was Samuel Luckhurst from the Manchester Evening News saying that Man United was seriously considering sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. As the story developed throughout the day, James Ducker came out, supported the fact that Solskjaer's job was under serious scrutiny. Simon Stone from the BBC. Look, you might not know, but I'm actually a trained journalist. I've got a diploma in journalism. I've got a degree in history. I know about understanding and presenting facts and seeing how stories develop. I've never been somebody to just jump on a headline from a crap source and say that as the story. I always try to present the full facts and the full figures, and I hope you do appreciate that. And I hope, at least in these first 15 minutes, I've helped you understand everything that happened yesterday, because it was a bit mad. So if I did, please drop a like on the video and subscribe if you're new. But then this morning, the Athletic came out and basically did a huge U-turn, completely contrasting everything that happened yesterday to what is happening today. So where do you stand on this situation? Are you frustrated? I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think I need to look at the comments to want to know where you're all sitting. Mate, I personally feel that from everything I saw yesterday, especially when it came to multiple strong sources reporting about Solskjaer, if not losing the dressing room, but everyone's sort of like they've lost a bit of faith in him. They've lost a bit of faith in his ability as a manager, and it seems like it feels like the position is a bit untenable now for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with everything that happened yesterday. So to see the Athletic coming out this morning, and that's as close as we're going to get to Manchester United publicly backing Solskjaer. The Athletic will be that source that does that. Now, of course, some of you will absolutely correctly point to the fact that Mourinho was backed within like less than 24 hours before he was actually sacked. So this isn't gospel. What we're reading now doesn't mean that Solskjaer cannot be sacked. But what I've just tried to explain to you is that yesterday all the stories were saying he was going to be sacked. It was all edging towards that. And this morning a big fence has come up from the Athletic saying the complete opposite. I'll head down to the comments here now. Please fire in your questions, not just your feelings, but your questions that you'd like to ask me, because it was a crazy day yesterday. One thing I would say right now with absolute certainty is I don't understand how any United fan enjoyed yesterday. I saw a lot of people genuinely taking real enjoyment in watching this public downfall of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and they're loving the fact that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be sacked and kicked out of the club. They're reveling in it. You fucking kidding me? I did not enjoy anything that happened yesterday. People were celebrating. I will not celebrate Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being sacked. I do think it's the right call at this point in time. It's the right move for Manchester United, but you're goddamn right, I will not celebrate. And yeah, I've got a bit confused by seeing all that yesterday. Really, really contrasting sort of emotions. And yeah, honestly, I didn't enjoy it. Let me see what's going on and see if anything else is happening with this story and developing. Because as is the case with live streams, things will probably develop whilst I am on live stream. There we go. Literally in the first minute. Let's go. Let's bring it up. Bingo bango. This is what we're seeing. Just in from Samuel Luckhurst, who I said there was reporting the first person to really say that Man United was seriously considering sacking him. There is still no outright clarity from Manchester United on Solskjaer's future. As it stands, Solskjaer is expected at Carrington today. Some players have already arrived. Sky Sports News going against Sky Sports News. I'll be honest, Sky Sports News are effectively TalkSport now. Sky Sports News used to be like the halcyon of Manchester United, of transfer news. When big stories like this happened, when Sky Sports News said it, you were like, oh. Now Sky Sports News are always about an hour and a half, 2 hours behind everything, and I don't really care what they say. Sorry. There is no suggestion from Manchester United's side that Solskjaer's job is under threat at any point. So again, they're repeating the same thing that I've already explained. The feeling is within the club is that whilst the result was bitterly disappointing, the immediate focus is on sorting out the issues and improving the team. Solskjaer is expected to remain as Manchester United manager. Okay, well, Jesus Christ, quite a lot has happened since I've been on here. All reporting the same thing and then we go down to the Athletic. So now the story today is a complete and utter U-turn on yesterday. Complete, and that's what it's like being a Manchester United fan, right? One thing I would say about that is because it's Manchester United and it's so heavily reported, you're more likely to get U-turns. You're more likely to get contrasting stories and reports. It is what it is being Manchester United. But everything we're seeing now today disagrees with everything we saw yesterday. What's your opinion on that? Or I can see you. Thank you very much for Super Chat, buddy. Hope you're doing well this morning. The club don't have a contingency plan goes to show how incompetent we are as a club. The writing has been on the wall for some time now, and it's something I absolutely agree with, something I've also said, look, Manchester is gross negligence from Manchester United as a business to not have I suppose, a bit like Manchester United on the pitch. Do we really have a plan B? Maybe the club on the board level doesn't have a plan B either. Because we're looking at this and how Man United don't have a plan just in case it didn't work out with Solskjaer. That's just negligence, absolutely negligence. And what we're seeing right now in this, I mean, it's not as if it's about money, right? With Jose Mourinho, when we sacked him, it cost us like 20 million. Because you know what he's like with contracts. He always gets very strong contracts in. I don't think it won't cost anywhere near as much as that for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I don't actually know how much it would cost, so I'm not gonna say it's going to be cheap or free. But this story is developing rapidly, man. Maybe I will pull up. Maybe I'm being unfair on Sky Sports here. Let me pull up the Sky Sports article. We can read through it together. Right. Okay. Right. This is breaking now. Let's pull this up. Let's see what it says. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer expected to stay at Manchester United despite the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool. Let's read this through. Let's go through it. And as I said, this is why I didn't go live yesterday. And this is something that you all really properly have to understand. There is a hunger to be the first to the news. And the headlines that come out, they're just wrong. Like headlines yesterday, Man United is sacking Solskjaer. No, Man United have been considering it, and it was an option yesterday, as I explained in my video in the morning. But it doesn't mean that you can blow up and just go straight in and say Man United are sacking him. No, it's not. It's not right. I know that there's an immediacy for everyone, and there's real hunger to be first. But that's why I stood back and waited a little bit, because I'd rather wait a little bit and then report it all accurately and fairly, rather than jumping first and getting it a little bit wrong in the context of things. And I think I'm happy with how I've done that. So as I said, I hope you're enjoying the live stream this morning. I hope you're enjoying all the updates. Please drop a like on the video and subscribe if you're new. And now let's run through everything that's happening right now. This is literally broken the last few minutes from Sky Sports News. I just slated them off, but let's take a look at what Sky Sports News have been saying. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is expected to stay at Manchester United despite that 5-0 Liverpool defeat. Let's go down here and let's see what it says. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is expected to remain in charge at Manchester United despite their heavy defeat at the hands of Liverpool. Let me zoom in for you so you can read that a little bit better. There you go. Don't say I don't serve you well. The feeling within the club is that while the result was bitterly disappointing and painful for everyone, the immediate focus is on improving and sorting out the issues. United have trips to Tottenham and Atalanta ahead of the City game on November 6th, and despite the poor results and huge external speculation, there is no suggestion from the club that Solskjaer's job is under threat. Sky in Italy is reporting that Conte has been in contact. They're disagreeing. Sky Sports News anyway. Solskjaer going down there. Okay, right. That's the story. So Sky Sports News are coming out this morning and saying the very same thing that the Athletic are saying. that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, let me highlight that for you. Oh, look at that. I'm so good. I'm so good to you people. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is expected to remain in charge of Manchester United. Right. I'm going to head down to the comments now, right? You let me know what your opinions and your feelings about that are. Let's talk about it. I'll be honest, I'm a bit surprised. I thought from everything that we saw yesterday developing, I fully expected Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be sacked today. I really, really did. It's not to say that positions can't change, but after that, the manner of the defeat to Liverpool, it was a trifle, wasn't it? And that was a cherry on top of the trifle. We've already had the cream of the 5-0 defeat. No, I suppose no. We've already had the cream of the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool, and then the custard was the bloody game against Leicester, and everything else underneath was Everton, was Villa, was everything over the last 18. One clean sheet in 20 goddamn games. It's for me, it reached an untenable point where I said Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should be sacked after the Liverpool game, and my position has not changed. And looking down here, I think type yes or no right now so I can actually see how many people are watching and commenting on this. Should Solskjaer be sacked? Yes or no? I'll go down there and I'll see how many people comment to actually gauge what your opinions are. But judging by what I'm reading down there, and the comments are flying, and it's very hard for me to keep on track of them. So I'm sorry if I'm not reading your comments out too much today. But Solskjaer, yeah, as I said, I thought it reached a point of no return, that Liverpool game. I personally felt you can't lose to 5-0. You can't lose 5-0. I mean, if I thought that was it 2-1, 3-1 that Mourinho lost at Anfield, if I thought that was bad, then that 5-0 against Liverpool is on a stratospheric scale by comparison. Going down here, reading the comments out, and there are literally I can't even explain how many comments are flying in. Keep engaging, people. Like, it's good fun. I enjoy it. And the overwhelming majority here, scrolling back up and scrolling through, we're looking at about maybe a 90-10 split for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being sacked. And I can't say I'm surprised, all right? I cannot say I'm surprised. I think that Liverpool game, for me, was the straw that broke the camel's back. For me, it was the point where I was like, I don't think Solskjaer can go any further. And for a lot of you, as I said, around about 90% of you in those comments there, you're all the same. So to see these stories coming this morning from The Athletic and from Sky Sports News, I suppose it's a bit of a worry for a lot of people. And it's these sort of contrasting emotions that drive you a bit mad as a United fan, right? We're here going, man, why can't the club just make a decision? Why can't the club just be clear? Boom, go ahead with it, done. Be quick. Why has it always got to be, no, maybe not. Maybe not. But, to try and be as fair as possible, a decision like this is an extremely tough one to make. I mean, for a lot of you, it might not be tough. And be like, well, it's not tough. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should be sacked. It's as simple as that. But Manchester United, as a board, they made their bed with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer only like 3 weeks ago when he got the 100% backing from the club. And then Mike Phelan signed a new contract. Man United doubled down on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at a point where a lot of people were calling into question whether he was the right manager or not. So for Man United now to do the U-turn of then sacking him would mean admitting their own mistakes, which I don't think Manchester United's board are very good at doing, and also being extremely decisive very quickly, which again, I don't particularly think Manchester United are very good at doing. But let's go on here. All right. Okay. There's more coming out. Geez, I'm glad I went live at 9 o'clock this morning. I'm good. Sometimes I'm good. Only sometimes. But today I'm good. I was right to go early. We've got Simon Stoney here from the BBC, who we've already looked at from his article last night, saying it does seem increasingly likely that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will remain in charge of Manchester United for Saturday's game at Tottenham Hotspur. So again, we've now got Simon Stoney from the BBC saying that Solskjaer will stay. We've got Sky Sports News reporting it, and we've got The Athletic, the article I ran through this morning, all saying the same thing. It looks like Solskjaer is going to be staying. Or what are you saying, buddy? It's not the loss against Liverpool. It's the game against Villa, West Ham, Villarreal, Leicester, Atalanta, and the final nail in the coffin was Liverpool. Yeah, Liverpool was the cherry on top of the trifle. The rest, there's a lot of layers. A lot of layers. Let me go down here and read us a few comments. Stuart, how you doing on Facebook, saying the board is stuttering. They have to be decisive. Once the press learn the board are thinking about it, he has to go. And the board are certainly thinking about it. That part isn't in question. Meetings happened yesterday between Richard Arnold, Joel Glazer. Woodward was probably there, the arsehole. And they were discussing Solskjaer's future. Simple as that. If we're looking at facts and we know things that have happened, that did happen. Manchester United did have meetings yesterday to discuss whether Solskjaer would be sacked or not. And as we're saying there, it's a fair comment, mate. If Man United are even the fact that United have to have these conversations goes to show that he probably isn't the right man. Because to doubt a manager to the point where the board has a meeting about his future is really indicative of the situation that is unfolding. And it's not as if we're jumping here. Look, we're not jumping here simply because of that 5-0 defeat against Liverpool, are we? This isn't that I know that none of us as United fans, we're not being knee-jerk with this reaction. This is the consequence of, as Orr said there, you can put this in reverse and start going back through the results, and you can go back pretty goddamn far as to where these doubts really first started to appear. They've been there the whole way through, haven't they? The boom-bust cycle of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United. Hell, it could be a textbook. A pretty crap textbook. I'm not sure I read that. I know there's certain parts of it I like, but it's not just a Liverpool game. It's not just a Leicester game. It's not just a Villa game. It's not just the Everton game. It's not just a Young Boys game. It's not just a West Ham game. You can keep going back and back and back to say when these doubts have been there, how long they've been there for, and they have been there for a substantial amount of time. So to see Manchester United, and especially after everything that happened yesterday, for me, look, let's take this hypothetically as true, okay? Let's say Solskjaer is going to be in charge of Manchester United for this game against Spurs on Saturday. Everything that we've seen now in these last 36 hours has massively, completely swept the carpet from under his feet. I think everything that's happened in the last 36 hours has made his position as manager untenable, because a large portion of Manchester United's fan base has now settled on the idea that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be sacked and should be sacked. And that's firm. And I'm one of them. I respect you. If you don't, that's cool. You're entitled to your own opinions. I have, and I would say the majority of United fans have at this point. So in terms of the fan base, it's the fan base is now, it's not going to be in total support of Solskjaer. So that's been taken away from him. And we've seen multiple reports about Eric Bailly, about Jesse Lingard, Donny van der Beek, and other players inside the squad being questioning the decisions of Solskjaer now. The stories have started to come out about the dressing room being split. And again, that takes a huge amount of power away from Solskjaer as manager. You can see that the club doesn't completely trust Solskjaer by simply having that meeting. There are so many different and separate points here, which I think have made Solskjaer's position untenable over the last 36 hours, that for United to at this point then go, you know what, we're still going to back him. It's like not putting your dog down when he's like 15. You love him, but he'll be in a better place somewhere else. And that's what it feels like with Solskjaer now. And it hurts me to say that. I take no fucking enjoyment in reporting this, in saying this. I swear to God. So don't say that I am. I'm not going to be clamoring for Solskjaer. I don't want him to be publicly flogged and shamed down the street. I don't want that. I want Woodward to be shamed down the street, butt naked. Not Solskjaer. A lot of people have been enjoying it a bit too much, as I said earlier. Comments coming in. Please fire in your super chats as well. I'll always answer the super chats because there's so many comments coming in. I keep saying it. I'm not lying. There's so many comments coming in. I can't always read them, but super chats literally come up a different color. That's why they say they're good. Abby, with Ole, it is not a sinking ship. He just needs to pick the right team instead of being stubborn. He does have tactics. He needs to be brave. If he is getting 3 games, pick the right team. So Abby, you're disagreeing. You're saying that, look, it's not a sinking ship. Fair enough, man. Okay, I would disagree with you there. I would say that ship has got a massive goddamn hole in the hull. We've hit the iceberg. No, maybe not an iceberg. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to sink, but it's looking pretty goddamn likely to sink. I say the captain's drunk at the wheel. The co-captain's, he's pissed off. He's at the bar. No one really knows what's going on. We are all lost at sea. I said that yesterday as well in an article I did. There was another comment coming in from Richmond. How you doing, Richmond? I see. This board just shows they are incompetent and don't care about the club. I won't be surprised if they don't fire him until May. Do you think there's any chance that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer stays in until May? I personally do not think so. I think no matter what happens this week, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be Manchester United's manager by the end of December. And in that sense, I would say, why wait? Why wait, Manchester United? Because I don't know. I can't see it turning around now. That game against Liverpool was everything. Was so all encompassing that I will not be able to forget it. When it comes to like games against it was Leicester. It's ever since Leicester. When it comes to like Everton or West Ham or Villarreal or Young Boys or anything there, it'd be like, even if it was a terrible performance, I could move on. I could say, look, I understand that I could draw a line in the sand and say, look, okay, let's try and develop and go further forward. That game against Liverpool is not some. It's not like that's not a drawing a line in the sand game. That's a putting the top on the coffin game. The casket is closed after that game against Liverpool, and it wasn't just the defeat. It was the manner of the defeat, the scale of the defeat, the utter scale of the defeat. Manchester United simply got dominated by our fiercest rivals at Old Trafford in our worst game there in 100 years. They scored 5. Salah scored a hat-trick. And the sheer utter disorganisation in our defence for all of the goals. As good as Liverpool were, we gifted all of them. Like, it's all individual mistakes because of a lack of coaching, there's nothing that I can take from that Liverpool game that suggests to me that any sort of turnaround can happen. So for United to continue down this path now would be pure stubbornness that they've made the right decision and that they will be proven right in the goodness of time. Now, maybe a lot of my opinion on Solskjaer over the last couple of months has been stubbornness. I'll probably put my hands up and say that because I wanted it to be correct so often. And I felt like he deserved he still deserves support. And after that game against Liverpool, I think the fact that he deserves support has been a little bit taken away from me, and that's why my position has changed. Atme, you sent it in a super sticker. Thank you, buddy. Cheers for that. Don't know what they are. It's Fergie time saying Sam Solskjaer will stay according to Sky Sports. Yet we've ran through all the news. As I said, I've run through all the news from yesterday. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope this actually has helped you understand. That's what I'm trying to do with these videos. Remember my full story videos? This is my first live full story video. Yeah, look at that. We hear it first. Let me see if anything else is developing. Any more questions you've got, any more concerns, fire in your comments, fire in your super chats. I'll always try and read as many out as I possibly can. Abby, this is what you're saying. So Abby, you went and said, no, the ship isn't sinking. This is your follow-up on that. We have great players. If the new manager picks the right team, we are going places. It is that simple. We have good enough players that can change tactics mid-game. Just need to pick the right players. So you're basically convinced that the problems right now at Manchester United are really down to the player selection more than anything else. And that's what, again, my friend, that's where I would disagree with you. I would say as much as it is, I'm not saying that the player selections are always right. Oh yeah, there's definitely things that can be changed with the players. But I think now the problems with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, with Manchester United, they go far, far deeper than just player selection. Far, far deeper. Let's go over to Twitter and see what's developing. Manchester United club sources have still not been able to provide any outright clarity on the future of Solskjaer. So Manchester United at this particular moment in time are still not saying yes or no. They're still letting the stories exist. They're still letting the rumors persist. Stories exist and rumors persist. Come on, man. I'm a poet as well. Jeez, there's nothing I can't do. Well, it probably is actually quite a lot I can't do. Yeah, Sky Sports is still the same on there. Let me go down to the comments here and read some of these out. Nathan, nice to see you this morning, buddy. As always, if you're a member on the channel, I'm sure I've told you before, if you're a member on the channel, you have priority in terms of your comments being read out. That's a perk of being a member. It's your way of supporting the channel. It's my way of supporting you back. That's what it is. Nathan, the Glazers are to blame for this. They knew we wouldn't go for Ole. It was a clever move from them in the first place, but we will not throw Ole's name under the bus. I think a lot of people have been throwing Ole's name under the bus. That's why I've not enjoyed the last 36 hours, but I will continue to report on everything as accurately as I see it. I did a video yesterday on replacements for Solskjaer. I didn't do that in a disrespectful way. I did that and I explained it. I'll explain it now. All I'm seeing from Manchester United is that there is no plan going forward. But it doesn't mean that I can't plan going forward. It doesn't mean that we can't plan going forward. And that's why I did that video yesterday. I said, hypothetically, I said, look, if Solskjaer is sacked, who could replace him and who could come in and what would it look like. And that's why I took a look at Antonio Conte, I took a look at Zinedine Zidane, and I took a look at Erik ten Hag. 3 options that I looked at yesterday and we discussed, and I'm sure you discussed in the comments as well. It wasn't a disrespectful video. It was a way of us looking at what could come next, because the club should be doing that. The club should be looking at what's coming next. And for them to not do that is negligence. It's poor planning. It's bad at a board level. Apparently, John Murtough and Darren Fletcher were only involved in advisory roles yesterday. John Murtough has been brought in as the director of football. He should be involved in these key decisions. Don't isolate him from that and let Woodward in it when he's getting goddamn sacked. Abby, nice to see you. Is that you rejoining? I think that might be you rejoining, or it's another Abby. I'm not sure which. Let's go up here. There's a couple of comments firing in. Saying, I'm sure they're waiting for Ole out to be trending before they sack him. Well, mate, that was already trending yesterday for a long time. Harsh, you're saying, well, Liverpool mocked us in the second half with their passing game. Otherwise, it would have been 10-0. I swear to God, Liverpool were nice to us in that second half. They were nice to us. If they wanted to, that game would have finished a lot more than 5-0. It was, yeah, I'm very glad that they ended up passing it around for like 15 minutes, because it would have been a lot worse. Mark Miller saying the options available are so unoriginal, though. Whack him low. Is it whack him low? How do you say joke him low? I say whack him, just because whacking Phoenix. Whack him. Or low. Just call him low. Everybody is talking about Sky Sports. Yeah, they are reporting that Solskjaer is going to stay. So is the Athletic. So everything we're seeing this morning is in complete contrast to everything we saw yesterday. That sums up being a Manchester United fan when it comes to big stories like this, whether or not that's Jadon Sancho being signed, whether or not that's Cesc Fabregas or Gareth Bale being signed, whether or not that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being sacked. It's part and parcel of being a Manchester United fan that we just have to deal with this bullshit of hearing one thing one day and then only a few hours hearing completely the opposite thing. Bazzy, I haven't seen you in the comments in a while, buddy. Nice to see you. Is Manchester United keeping silent because they don't have the balls to make a positive or a negative decision? No, I think it's simply that Manchester United are just letting the stories be the stories. Manchester United don't technically have to respond to the stories. They can just let the rumours, as I said, the rumours persist. Manchester United will come out with something when it is official. The fact that, as I said, I personally think that Sky Sports and The Athletic both reporting that this morning tells me that while it might not be an official statement from Man United aren't going to come out with an official statement saying we support Solskjaer. That's not going to happen. It's going to be done through the press. It's going to be done through the sources that you see in the press. And for me, The Athletic reporting it this morning is as close as we're going to get to a proper backing of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Whether or not that's the right thing or not, that's completely different from you. Sally, haven't seen you here before. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, Sally. They probably realise that sacking Ole to bring in a top manager will result in them wanting full control, replace the coaching, staff, the quality, our CEO, etc. are useless. And that would happen. If you're looking at someone like Erik ten Hag, for example, he is somebody who would definitely want to come in and bring, in an ideal world, he can come with Edwin van der Sar, he can come with Mark Overmars, but I don't really think that Ajax would let that happen. Why would they? Geeky stuff, haven't seen you around. Make sure you subscribe, buddy. Thanks for your super chat. Ole is staying. He'll be given until the end of the season. He needs time for Sancho, Ronaldo, and Varane to settle in. He's only just acquired them. Now, while that's semi-correct to a point, we are now at the end of October. So what's that? We're into our 3rd month of the season. Or did it start in September? I think it started in August. I can't remember when it started this season. He's had quite a few games. He's had at least a couple of months with these players, with this team, to build towards what is going on. So I wouldn't say they are new players, but with Sancho, for example, we just signed a £70 million winger that we spent 2 years chasing as our number 1 target. Took so long, so much effort for us to sign Jadon Sancho. And all we've done is leave him on the bench. Leave him on the bench there against Liverpool. What's the point in signing him? What's the point in going in so aggressively for him if we're not even going to play him? Very, very odd, really. Hey, Salim, nice to see you, buddy. The board must go for the right manager. No rush, but Ole must go. Even a manager of another club, we must go for him. And that's something I would completely agree with. I'm not just... Antonio Conte, I understand the positives about Antonio Conte. I'll do an opinion piece on him at the right time, not yet. But I don't want Antonio Conte, and I'll explain why when I do that video. Zinedine Zidane, I'm a bit unsure of Zinedine Zidane. I have concerns. someone like Erik ten Hag, you can't not look at Ten Hag simply because he's Ajax's manager. If Man United, if we are willing to spend 20 million on sacking Mourinho, we should be willing to spend 20 million to bring the right manager in, if that means paying compensation. Simple as that. Victorim, you're saying that you think that Zidane's a better appointment as of now. You let me know in the comments then, everyone. Type your name in now of the manager that you think would be the best appointment. I'll kind of try and gauge the opinion from what I'm seeing in all the comments. Abby, what are you saying, sir? Not to blame much, although his tactical naivety and stubbornness cost us and will cost us in the future. I'm hoping he can learn and learn first, and all his support staff would love your opinion. Look, mate, I would love nothing more than for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer from this point onwards to win every game, to go on, to win the Champions League, to smash it, to nail it, for United to be on top again. I just don't personally think it can happen. I think after that game against Leicester, for me, was the point of no return. I think for a lot of those players as well inside that squad, it would have been the point of no return. And that's why, as much as I would love to agree with you in saying that, yeah, man, I hope he can do it, I don't think he can. I think the opportunity for that to happen has now passed. Let me go down to the comments here and see all the manager names that you are firing in. And I'll tell you what, there are so many comments coming in. This is wicked. Zidane, Conte, Ten Hag. Steve Bruce says, you need to stop drinking. Ten Hag, Zidane, Nagelsmann, Bielsa, Chris Wilder. There's some proper rogue ones being thrown in here. What else you got down here? Rory, you're saying Ten Hag's my number one, but not likely. And that's something that a lot of people would say. Ten Hag, of course, doing such an incredible job at Ajax, has been for a long time, but Barcelona are in need of a manager. Is Ten Hag more likely to go to Barcelona? I would say absolutely he is. But does that mean the Man United can't go after him? Absolutely not. Simeone says Nellen. Well, Simeone's not leaving Atletico Madrid anytime soon. Completely forgot where it was. Blanc, Simeone, Zidane, Conte says Lim. Hey, look, there's plenty of names going to be banded around. Yesterday, the only name that really we saw some sort of development with was Antonio Conte. I understand the desire to bring Conte in. I understand the fact that he would be a good manager for Manchester United in the short term, but I understand also that Conte would be a massive contrast in terms of what he builds and what he works towards compared to what we have been building and what we have been working towards. And that's what we have to go for next. Is somebody who can build towards what Solskjaer was building towards, but has the tactical acumen, is a better coach, is capable at that top level, whilst also sort of treading the same path that Solskjaer was walking down. And that's why, for me, is Conte is a nose, because it's the shift that I've told you, that shift in direction, that huge shift, it's a complete U-turn with Conte than it would be from Solskjaer. And for a lot of you, that's what you want. But I don't think it would suit Manchester United in the long term, personally, because the squad's going to get taken apart again. I don't know who the hell would play bloody wing-backs underneath them. Conte. Big Sam says, Fat Thor, well, you're feeling nice and chipper this morning. Graham Sooner says, mate, I'll tell you what, you all are goddamn trolls. To be fair, we don't get too many trolls here on United People's TV. It's actually a cracking community. So as I would say, I said at the start, I'll say it again now, please, if you would, drop a like on the video. Subscribe to United People's TV if you're new. If you'd like to join the community, hit that join button on YouTube next to the subscribe button. It's your way of supporting the channel. As you can see, hey, look, I've even got a little logo up there now. I've moved the Old Trafford sign so you can see that a little bit more behind my head. I've got another shelf I'm going to put up there. I'm going to get a new table for over there for when your stuff gets sent to this PO box. That's the PO box of United People's TV. The reason I've opened that box is because I want you to have an opportunity to get involved in the channel. You can send me whatever you want. And if you send me good stuff, I'll put it in the set. I'll add it to the shelves. I'll add it to the table that's over there. That will be over there soon. It's my way of including you inside the community a little bit better, because as I've always said, this is genuinely a community-based channel. Some channels will say it is, but it really is not a community. It's all about an individual. That is not the case here on United People's TV. Let's head over to Twitter and see if there's any more updates happening. Let's go down here and see. Lawrence Julian, who works for ESPN, I do believe we've had Julian on the channel before. Zidane is not in a rush to return to management and is waiting for the right opportunity to emerge. Zidane is not interested in managing Manchester United. That's what we're seeing there. Well, as it Laurie Whitwell, United reports, Solskjaer asked his team, that's probably from the article this morning, but we can go over it again. Solskjaer asked his team for their thoughts on the issues causing United to leak chances week after week. More than one player concluded that the answer was the man posing the question. That's pretty damning, very damning indeed. But look, as you can see, what I've got here, I'll stay on for as long as you're firing in good questions at me and good super chats. Keep firing those in, we'll stay live and we'll have a conversation. But as far as we can see from everything that's happening and developing, so I'm just quickly checking my phone to make sure nothing else is happening. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't going to be sacked. Now, that's not the story that was being reported yesterday. Massively not reported. But this morning, we've got The Athletic, we've got Laurie Whitwell, we've got the team at The Athletic, and we've got Sky Sports News, both saying the same thing. The Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's position, he won't be sacked, and he will be in charge of Manchester United against Spurs. And then we've seen it from Simon Stoney from the BBC too. Now, for a lot of you, as I said, a lot of you are going to be furious at that. A lot of you think it, mate, what you're doing, Man United, is past the point. What are you waiting for? Just sack him. And I'm not going to be sitting here with a pitchfork chasing after Solskjaer and trying to burn him at the stake. But I do feel that the decision has effectively been made for Manchester United in what happened against Liverpool and everything that's happened in the last 36 hours. I do believe that Solskjaer's position as manager, I don't think he can go into that dressing room now and control it. I think if Solskjaer goes into that training ground, goes into that dressing room after everything that happened against Liverpool, after everything that has happened in the last 36 hours, which all the players would have been sitting there and watching on their day off. Monday was a day off. No player was in training on Monday. Every single one of Manchester United's players would have been on social media, ghosting in the background, watching everything unfold. Everything, all the articles that came out from The Guardian, from ESPN, from the BBC, from The Telegraph, from Fabrizio Romano, every single United player would have been watching that and seeing how these stories developed. And they're going into the training today with those stories in their head. I just don't personally think that. I think that they've, as I said, they swept the carpet from under the feet of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I don't really believe that he's capable now of controlling that set of players because of everything that's happened. And it's unfair on him now. It's unfair. I think Solskjaer's been put into a position where he simply needs to be relieved of his duties, and Manchester United and the Glazers have a responsibility to do so. Joel Glazer, man, pull the finger. Stop it. You need to. I mean, I suppose the question at that point is, who would be interim manager? I saw reports yesterday of Darren Fletcher potentially being interim manager, and if it is Darren Fletcher, what does that tell you about Mike Phelan, Michael Carrick, and Kieran McKenna? If they gave it to Darren Fletcher, it would show that there's really no faith in any of them. But it looks like Manchester United really are back in Solskjaer. As far as we're seeing right now, all the stories this morning, I'm glad I went live. I'm glad I've covered this story fully and properly. I'm really happy about that and how I've presented that today. Because sometimes you can get it wrong. Sometimes you can jump too early. I think I've timed it well. Everything we're seeing from today is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been sacked, not been sacked, has been backed. He's not got the back or the crack. No, he's not got the sack or the crack. He's got the back. See what I did there? That was terrible. Or if we don't get this next election right, we'll be here again in a couple of seasons. And I'm sick of tired of these club resets. We fall behind. And that's the fear, isn't it? Isn't it all? That's the fear that Manchester United definitely have. And that's the fears probably as to why this decision's taking a little bit longer, maybe. We've got 3 games now. We've got Spurs away, Atalanta at home, and then City at home. No, sorry, Atalanta, Spurs away, Atalanta away in the Champions League, and then City at home. And then we've got a 2-week break. We've only got 3 games of football between now and the 20th of November. If there was a time, we're looking at it. We are looking at it. And I don't really, look, you can question whether keeping would they that would just be disrespectful to ask Solskjaer to stay in his job for these last 3 games before sacking him after City. Why would you delay that? That wouldn't be fair to Solskjaer from the club's point of view. Solskjaer, I don't believe, can save his job, can turn this around now with the football on the pitch, with the players in the squad, and with the fan base. I think it's gone past the point of no return. That's what I said after Liverpool, and I maintain it. I just don't think it's tenable anymore. But look, I really enjoyed this live stream this morning. I really hope that you now understand everything that happened yesterday. You understand exactly what's happened this morning, all the stories that have developed. Let me refresh social media one more time, see if anything else is happening before I wrap it up. Yeah, there's nothing else that's new. The stories this morning are from Sky Sports News and The Athletic, both saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is actually safe and he will be in the job against Tottenham Hotspur. That could, of course, change across the day. And if it does, you know where to come. Here on United People's TV, I'll bring you the facts. I won't just come with crappy headlines and feed you stories that aren't true. That's what I always try to do. We'll always have opinion in the comments. I've read as many of your comments out coming out. Or thank you very much for your super chats. Abby, thank you very much for your super chats. A few new members today. If you'd like to join as a member, hit that join button. If you're on Facebook as well, please hit that join button. I'm going to be doing giveaways on Facebook soon. I'm going to be doing Ronaldo shirt giveaways. So make sure you want to be joining as a supporter on Facebook. I really encourage you to join there. But look, Jonathan, you're saying, why did you start the stream 30 minutes earlier than normal? It's because I can see stories developing, and I was right to do so because it's massively developed this morning. I'll be here later today. If anything breaks and happens, you know where to come, to United People's TV. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell because you won't miss it if I do go live. Thank you very much, everybody, for your comments. There's a comment coming in towards the end there. Thank you very much, Harsh. Cheers, buddy. What are you saying? You're saying we're a club who have been stuck in memories and success we have in the past. We need to consider and learn from our glory and adopt a new footballing ideology like Liverpool has done with Klopp, Man City, and Pep. Yeah, I would agree with parts of that. We are kind of stuck in the past, and this idea that whoever comes in has to have the DNA and playing youth attacking football. There are certain things that shouldn't be associated immediately with this new manager. What we need is somebody who is a forward-thinking manager, who is tactically molded to the modern game, who is capable of managing elite players and bringing Man United back to that top table, because we're dining at the kids' table at Christmas party right now, and we want to be on the adult table. That's where we want to be. And sure, the coaching staff need immediate overhaul rather than firing Solskjaer. Naivety in defence coaching, despite playing two-man pivot, is a clear indication. That's been the case for a long time, Anshul, and they gave Mike Phelan a new contract. So I don't think that we're going to be changing the coaching staff at any point soon if we haven't done already. That's just my opinion. I might be wrong on that, but I don't think I am. What I'll do right now is I'll wrap up for today, for this morning's live stream. But don't worry, ladies and gents, I will be here throughout the day if anything else breaks. Thank you very much for your super chats, like that one coming in from Harsh. Thank you very much, Harsh. It wasn't harsh, it was quite nice. But big up to all of you. Thank you very much for supporting United People's TV. I hope this video has helped you understand everything that's happened. Make sure you drop a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. And I will be back here later on. Don't you worry about that. Take it easy, everyone. But as it stands, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be in charge against Spurs, according to all the reports. What's your opinion on that? You let me know in the comments after the video too.